When we look over the chamber today, take a bird's eye view, for example, we see something that looks vaguely or colonial. But when it opened in 1857, although the space was very much the same, the architecture, the structure, and the shell haven't changed, what was inside was very different. One of the biggest differences that we would notice if we were to be transported back in time was that the members sat at desks with chairs. Today, they're called benches. They're seats, essentially, that people sit. But since the chamber itself was the office for each member at the time, they had desks where they could keep stuff. The other big change that we see in the chamber today, as it looked in 1857, if a member from 1857 had come back to life and walked in here, he would be very surprised at the change in the rostrum. The rostrum we see today is beautifully carved wood. Laurel wreaths are carved around the front of it with some of the words of the great aspirations of our nation and of the House of Representatives. Words like justice. But at the time, in 1857, the height of showing your architectural respect for the institution would be to create something in marble. The Capitol itself, when we look at the outside, it's white and gleaming, and we think of it as entirely marble because it shows a timelessness to the endeavor there. We think of the Greek and Roman temples as marble. So the rostrum was made of marble. It was white marble, and it was significantly smaller as well. Today we have so many people doing so many jobs to keep the Congress running that there are a lot more folks sitting there. So when we turn on the television and look at what's going on in the House of Representatives chamber, we see lots of people down there. And those are more than there would have been in the 19th century. When you go into the chamber yourself and sit in the galleries, you're up high. You have a perfect view.
Right above the speaker's podium is a profound quote from another of our distinguished founders, Daniel Webster.
When you look straight up along the wall from where the speaker sits, you can see up along the cornice almost, there's a quotation from Daniel Webster. It wasn't said here in the House of Representatives at all. It was an oration he gave, actually not even in Washington, D.C., but it's a wonderful reflection on what's important to us, what we consider to be, in fact, some of the reasons that we are here as citizens and the reasons members of Congress are here. And it's something that I think, like many of the symbols in the Capitol, members can look at every day and be reminded of the high purpose to which they are called. You can see the lawgivers, reliefs that ring the chamber of the important people throughout human history who've created great laws and great advances in how laws are made and administered. The other thing that I notice most there are the portraits of Washington and Lafayette. The first one that came into the House collection was Lafayette. He had been such a young man during the American Revolution that as late as the 1820s, he was still around and kicking, and he came over and did a triumphal tour of the United States before returning to France. And at that time, in the early 1820s, that picture was presented to the House of Representatives. He was the first foreign dignitary to address the Congress as well. And because he had been such a great and good friend of Washington's, as well as one of his strongest allies, there's also a portrait of Washington there that was subsequently commissioned to match the portrait of Lafayette. And I think those are examples of the way our history continues as a thread through what we do. Those portraits have hung wherever the House has met since they first arrived here in the Congress, 180 years ago?